Wow, look at that.
Mom, go here or up there? Go up here or here or there?
I don't know.
We're going up the top. Yeah? We'll just have a look see.
Cereal, there's a cereal. Look, look, see?
Well, technically speaking, this is all your current ground. But we're going up to the tippity top.
Cereal here.
Charles, don't do that.
Anyway,
Yeah, do not climb on the grill.
no, 11th century.
No, but 11, so it's older.
It says 12th century,
Yeah.
but some.
Over here, upstairs.
Oh, it's just a room sort of thing. The guard would take shelter.
Then, where are you? Sit where you go. Son, get me back.
Oi, oi, wait. Careful, make sure you hold on, mate. The steps are all different sizes, yeah?
Yeah.
It's easy to, to trip and fall. Don't do that.
Just to see if I might fall down.
There's an awful lot still standing, but there's an awful lot.
攞翻始終咁㗎，會㗎嘛係咪？
That's it. Squeeze on in, squeeze on in. A little bit more. Right, is that everyone? Right, so good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the Well House here at Carisbrooke Castle. My name is Harvey and I'm joined today by the star of the show, Jigsaw. Now before we get started, we would like to thank you for your patience. As you can tell, Jigsaw was not best pleased about coming in today. In her defense, she has been up all morning. Such a drama queen, aren't you? She's done about a minute's worth of work this morning, you know, I can't blame her for being tired. So, yeah, Jigsaw has been up all morning and now she's going to be up this afternoon. So she's not best pleased, but I won't get her to do the last demo, I will do that myself. So, if you are wanting to take photos or videos, you're more than welcome. Just make sure you turn your flashes off, as it can cause bits of irritation to our donkey's very sensitive eyes. And if Jigsaw here does come forward at the end for a bit of a cuddle, just make sure you keep your hands away from her mouth, as donkeys can and do nibble. And as all of our staff members know, it does hurt. Just be aware as well that Jigsaw in particular is prone to doing what we call love nudges, which is basically where she puts her nose against you and then tries to shove you backwards. There is no malice behind it, it's just one of her little quirks, but just be aware it can take you off balance sometimes. So, Jigsaw here is one of 6 donkeys that we have at Carisbrooke Castle. She is 22 years old, and she is our most thoughtful donkey, but also our fastest. And she'll take the squeal at speeds it was never designed to go at. So we do always have to keep a very close eye on the brake, which is just at the back over there. Stepping up here with her today, we have Jill. Now Jill is our other female donkey, our only other female donkey. She is 25 years old, which makes her one of 2 oldest donkeys that we have here. She has been here now for 24.5 years, and she has learned all of the tricks of the trade. However, over the years, you will notice that she is a bit shorter than Jigsaw, and so she is also shorter than the rest of the donkeys. Now, that is because she is part miniature. What that would typically mean is that she would be basically the runt of the herd, she would be shunned off to the side and basically be forgotten by the rest of them. However, over the years, Jill has made up for this by building up quite a bit of an attitude, and now that really comes out around feeding time, where she'll start roaring at the other donkeys, she'll start biting them, and she will start kicking them, and that is her calling out just there. As if to say, I'm here, I'm here. So, yeah, as I mentioned, her attitude really comes out around feeding time, where she'll start roaring at the other donkeys, she'll start biting them, she'll start kicking them, and that's really fun for us when we're in there trying to feed them all. So we do always have to make sure that Jill gets to the food first, because if she doesn't, then she has a bad day. And if Jill has a bad day, she likes to make sure that we have a bad day, which is very kind of her. So, down in the field behind the castle, we have our other 4 donkeys. So we've got Jack, who is Jill's half-brother. He is also 25 years old. He is the other oldest donkey. He has also been here for 24.5 years, and he has, of course, also learned the tricks of the trade. However, he has used his time here a bit differently from his half-sister. So he has been very mischievous with his time here. He has learned how all of our locks work, and has therefore become our local escapologist. So he has escaped from this very well house in the middle of a demonstration. He walked out through that door there. He has escaped from the stables over there, and escaped from the field behind the castle. Now, having one donkey escape is all well and good. You can generally lure them back with a couple of treats. However, Jack has an annoying little habit of letting the other 5 donkeys escape with him. And so trying to wrangle up 6 donkeys is slightly more tedious, and it can take us all day long sometimes. Down there as well, we also have Jigsaw's nephew, being Juno. Now, Juno is just 13 years old, and he is our classic moody teenager. He is also our clumsiest donkey, but also our most excitable donkey. And his favourite thing in the world is dogs. And that's great for us because we do get a lot of dogs here at the castle. However, if Juno had it his way, he would be going off home with them. However, at 180 kilos, or about 28 stone, trying to let Juno actually play with the dogs is a big no-no, as he can cause some quite serious damage because he likes to think that he's just a big one of them. So, down there as well, we also have our newer donkeys, being Jingles and Jester. So Jingles is just 4 years old and Jester is 7. And when a donkey turns 5 years old, that's when they are generally considered fully grown, and that's when they can typically start their training on this wheel. However, Jingles and Jester, they only got here about 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago or so. And so it did take quite a while for them to actually get fully integrated with the rest of the herd and completely comfortable around the castle. So we had to make sure that was done before they started their training, as it would just be, I guess, anxiety overload. So, Jester has begun his training. He is getting on very well with it, and he has now started getting all 4 hooves onto the wheel, and then coming off and learning how to actually wait, which is one thing that Juno should have spent a bit more time training on. So, much older than any of our donkeys, however, is of course this wheel. It is 437 years old, and it's the original frame for it made out of solid white oak. Then you've got the beam or the spindle, which is just above your heads, which is made out of solid oak as well. Jigsaw, not distracting whatsoever. So, then you've also got the running boards and wooden treads that are lining this wheel. They are made out of pine, so it's a bit of softer wood for our donkey's hooves, as they aren't as hard as our horse's hooves. However, in the past they would have been made out of oak, and they also would have been stepped. And that's because this wheel was not designed with donkeys in mind. It was designed for prisoners and servants. So a prisoner or a servant would be turned in this wheel, and it would take them around about half an hour to bring a single bucket of water. Now that bucket would have held about 10 gallons or 45 litres of water and weighed 16.5 stone when full. Jigsaw, a little early. So, that bucket weighed 16.5 stone full. However, half an hour for 10 gallons of water, supplying not only a castle full of people, but also the local surrounding area, it just wasn't good enough. And so in 1696 was the first written record of a donkey being on this wheel, and that is because they found out they could turn it in about 10 to 15 minutes, which is excellent news for the castle. Not so great news, however, for the donkeys that have been in here, expected to work between 12 to 16 hours each and every day. However, you'll be pleased to know our donkeys don't even work for 12 minutes anymore. When they come to us, they get their own little work contracts, and it says they can work a maximum of 6 minutes per day. But our record holder is actually Jigsaw here at 3.5 minutes. So while they might be slightly overfed on occasion, they're definitely not overworked. Now, if we were to ask Jigsaw here to bring up a bucket of water, she'd have had to turn this wheel 34 times in total. So it'd be 17 in that direction to get the bucket down to water level, and then 17 in this direction to bring it back up. However, we don't ask our donkeys to do that anymore. All we ask them to do now is do 2 turns of the wheel, and it brings an empty bucket out around about 6 meters, and it'll take Jigsaw here around about 25 to 30 seconds worth of work. So that's what I'm going to ask her to do now. However, if she does put her hooves down and says, nope, I don't want to do it, then you'll see me on it. Right. Jigsaw, are you ready? Done. Lovely. Much older than this wheel is of course as well, but it's actually the second one that we have here at the castle. For those of you that have braved your way up into the keep, you'll have seen the castle's original well. Now that one was sunk in 1070, but it does have a big design flaw, and that is that it reaches no natural water source. So despite a depth of 49 meters or 161 feet, it is just a big rain collector. Now, they did discover this design flaw in 1136, as it had been a very hot summer, and that's the time when King Stephen decided to besiege the castle. So he sent some of his troops here ready to collect it from the supporters of his cousin Empress Matilda, as at the time both were feuding over who was the rightful heir to the throne in what many considered to be England's first proper civil war. So, King Stephen's troops, they arrived here, ready to take over the castle in a massive battle, only to discover that the castle gates were wide open. And that's because the men that were stationed here, they looked up into that well, only to discover that the well had run dry, and you cannot have a siege without water. So they gave up without a fight, without a single arrow to have to be shot. So King Stephen's troops, they took over the castle, and to make sure that we weren't going like that again, by 1150 they commissioned this well to be sunk, and it took 2 people digging at a time around about 2.5 to 3 years to dig straight down through solid chalk, solid bedrock, and a lot of clay. And that was with nothing more than wooden shovels and iron picks. Sorry. So, this well is actually the exact same depth as the well up in the keep, being 49 metres to 161 feet, but whereas on a lower elevation it does actually reach water. So, what I'm going to do now is just show you how deep this well actually is. So I'm going to drop a jug of water down there, and then you're going to hear the splashing again. So, if you're nice and quiet, you'll hear the splash at the end. Ready? 3, 2, 1. It's a little bit of a drop. So, if you are to look over, do keep hold of all of your valuables. Hats and sunglasses have a nasty habit of going down there, along with ice creams, guidebooks, mobile phones, even our radios and keys have ended up down there over the years where our donkeys have seen them and just kind of thrown them. And in the 1970s, we did have 2 divers go down. They found an estimate about 6 feet worth of coins, and they also found 2 sets of false teeth. It's a favourite story to tell here at the castle, especially around Halloween. So, again, if you are to look over, do keep hold of anything and everything. If anything does fall down there, unless it magically lands in the bucket, it will not be returned, and this does include your children, as we do not have another dive planned anytime soon. So, unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of this demonstration, and hopefully for Jigsaw, the end of her overall working day. She's done about a minute and a half's worth of work today. So, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask us. We'll be over in the donkey courtyard, and we can happily talk about donkeys all day long. If you would like to sponsor any of our donkeys, keep bringing this up. We don't do sponsorship at the moment. If you would like to donate to our donkeys, however, we've got a donation box here and one over in the donkey courtyard. All of our money does go straight back to our donkeys, whether it be for food, healthcare, or any emergency events that sometimes do crop up. But other than that, thank you very much for coming. Have a lovely rest of your day.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for a little over 2 years now. She likes me sometimes.
Be careful what you're doing there.